For sure. We are rolling.
Are you going to cut that bit out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's probably more editing than we're used to. Okay. Welcome to Karl Marx Does the Washing Up,
where we ponder ludicrous, metaphysical nonsense in the time it takes to make 5 Tesco's basic microwave meals.
which is around 21 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. We'll
see what
Inshallah.
happens. Yeah.
I'm Ilyas and Shy.
I'm Shy.
And today, what do you... I think you've got something for us.
I do. So it's a quote. It's from this book that I'm reading at the moment. The book is entitled A Concise Chinese-English Dictionary for Lovers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to people. Or, if they don't want to read it, they can obviously just listen to our podcast, because this is the best quote from it. Are you ready? So, home is everything. Home is not sex, but also about it. Home is not a delicious meal, but also about it. Home is not a lighted bedroom, but is also about it. Home is not a hot bath in the winter, but it's also about it.
Okay.
So the reason why I found that so fascinating...
Home, yeah, I like that.
Because that's saying that home is something that provides you with comfort. That's the ultimate statement.
The ultimate. Sex a curse? Sex is not a notion of comfort, is it?
I think it can be if it's with a loved one.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the archetypally or how it comes in your head is quite intimacy or cuddling or something like that.
Yeah.
Comfort, and sex is something more
more animalistic.
Yeah, adrenal.
Yeah, but I still think sex with a loved one is very comforting.
Yeah, I guess so.
Especially if it's in the bed that you share. I think that's still quite an intimate thing rather than adrenal.
Yeah. I guess the bed is something. I think it's also the idea of bed because finding home in someone else, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. So that's really what I want to talk about, actually. So what is home? Is it somebody else? Or is it yourself? Or is it the 4 walls that you spend most of your life in?
I think the notion of home is basically a space, whatever that may be, in which you feel where you belong or where you came from.
Yeah.
A notion that you kind of feel grounded. You feel grounded in that space. And you might feel that within a person, within a space, within a country. And I think because you're growing up in a certain area, and then due to that area you have the food, you have all these sort of circumstances, then those are you consider the grounding. And when you feel so distant from it, you feel the absence of that grounding.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So is that why, when people move to a different country, they often try and replicate what was in that previous country in terms of food and, living next to people who were also from that country?
Yeah, I mean, there's a relatability to it, right? You feel like you can connect to things that you're related to, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think you crave that comfort. Right?
No, so I agree with that. And also,
So
I just think... Sorry, what were you going to say?
Do you ever do that when you're traveling, when you go away?
Yeah, all the time. I try and find a Hindu temple just to find but it might be grounding, maybe just to find something that I can relate to on a deeper level.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I never do that, I don't think.
Really?
I'm always want to be immersed in that place.
So I really like immersing myself in other culture, but I also want to see how my culture exists in that culture. So I went to a Hindu temple in New Orleans, and it was just bonkers. There was Mardi Gras paraphernalia everywhere within this Hindu temple. But I love the fact that this Hindu temple had embraced this New Orleans culture, and New Orleans had kind of embraced this Hindu temple.
But does that space represent something homely to you, or is it just something quite foreign?
So it represented something homely to me because I didn't encounter many brown people on my trip, and I felt a bit of because I had this British accent and I'm quite fair skinned. People maybe thought I was Mexican. People thought I was Spanish or Turkish or something, or Israeli. I kind of maybe had a little bit of loss of my Indian identity. So I went to this Hindu temple just to be around some Indian people and maybe speak a bit of Gujarati and eat some Indian food. Okay. And I thought the temple would be the best place to go for that.
And that's because you were missing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just exploring what this looks like.
Well, I was on some level it was exploring what it looks like, but on some level I was also missing home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. But also you weren't there for that long, right?
Yeah, but I was living so I was only there for 3 weeks, but it was a very chaotic 3 weeks. like I hadn't booked anywhere to stay. So I was like on Tinder, and I met this girl, and I was living with her for a week, and then went to live with another girl for 2 weeks, and it was just a very chaotic existence. Also, because it's like
are we
city...
pretending to be enlightened beings? Can we be telling people that we go on Tinder?
Yeah, but this was like
get accommodation.
Wait, this was 2 years ago though. I was only enlightened 1 year ago.
Okay,
when we started the podcast.
Okay, you are forgiven.
Yeah,
absolved of your sins.
Yeah, but no. So the point of this story is, that I was living outside of a suitcase in unfamiliar surroundings, and I lost a sense of home.
Okay.
And it really made me think about what is home, because initially I thought home was maybe just myself, but I think it's something more than that.
Okay. Do you feel like you do the opposite? Like when you're in London near your home, do you do the opposite? Like you try and like live more out of a suitcase or shift away from the home, so like you go to more. Yeah,
for sure. I feel because in London I think I'm very confident that home is myself. But I think when I was traveling, I didn't think that home was
so maybe
myself.
It's just this quest for balance between the familiar and the unfamiliar.
Yeah, so
right?
Okay.
So you want that middle point.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
And so when you're in your home country, you go away from home because it feels too familiar. And then when you go to an unfamiliar place, you look for the familiarity because it feels too unfamiliar. Or no?
No, I think there's a lot of truth in that. But I don't know if that's something that you ascribe to as well, or if something that our listeners may ascribe to.
I feel like maybe as I've got older, the notion of home maybe seems... I realized that I've always thought of myself as an adventurous person who goes out to different places and tries to explore things. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing actually I like the comfort of like my normal...
Yeah, but also I think that's because we like creating new memories within the space that we already exist in.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of people try and create new memories in new spaces. Whereas we're really looking for... Well, I think so.
I think, I guess home has a lot to do with family as well for me. It's just like where my family are. And maybe I'm scared to be too far from my family. I don't know what.
Well, that's the historical thing, isn't it? That home is where your mother is.
Yeah. So, I do think that that's actually a really apt definition of home. Like, home is where the mother is. But I think the mother can mean something other than
your actual mother.
Your actual mother. There can be the maternal force or whatever. So for me, there's like a ethereal mother, and then there's like a sort of natural mother, right? And then there's mum.
Yeah,
right.
Mummy.
So I think the ground, just the earth. Like I feel really kind of in a sense more at home. Like I've really gone to a place that I belong when I just go into nature.
Yeah, but so my counter argument to that is I think it's actually specific parts of nature. So I think it's like your back garden or like Hyde Park. I think it's places that you frequent as much as you frequent home. Like I think if you went to a new nature, I don't know if you'd still get that same sense of grounding.
I get that in new nature. Actually more so because like Hyde Park's too close to the chaos. But every time, like the places I felt most at home were, when I was in India and I went to these just into the mountains. When I was in Spain recently, went to the mountains. And...
So it's quite funny. I didn't feel that at home in India actually, but I think that's because I was in the midst of chaos. I think in Spain, in India, you went to the mountains, right? So maybe home is solitude.
But I think there's three different homes, and they're not all satisfied. So one is like an ethereal home, which means you're connecting to some like spiritual force.
Yeah.
Right. One is like a sort of like an ecological home, like connecting to just the thing which we're born from, the flesh. The flesh is born from the roots of this earth, and then there's the just being shot out of your mother's womb.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you want to be close to that physical space. I think there's maybe something kind of, sexual about it. Not sexual, but like, you want to be close to the physical space from which you entered this world. And there's like a level spiritual
of
version of that, an ecological version. And,
So that's really fascinating to me, because none of those three things really involve four walls.
No.
So you could be homeless in a literal sense of the word, but still feel very much at home.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually met a lot of people who are homeless. Yeah, but they say that I live in Soho. Like they speak. Yeah, they really
Soho is their home.
Their home.
Yeah,
they're houseless. They're not really homeless.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference that I really want to explore.
The difference between homelessness and houselessness.
Or maybe the difference between the three levels of home.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know. Do these resonate with you? Those kind of three ideas?
I think definitely, obviously, I think home being the mother, like where my actual mother is, definitely. I think that resonates with a lot of people who've had maybe a happy upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and are still close with their parents or whatever. I think the spiritual one does resonate with me as well, because maybe that's why I went to that Hindu temple in New Orleans.
Okay. But did you go because you wanted to be like close to God, or your kind of familiar archetypal concept of God, or was it because you wanted to see the same sort of people that you see doing the same sort of rituals?
Well, I think it's both. Like, even if that temple was empty, I was still happy to pray. It was just an added bonus that there were other Indians there.
Okay. Yeah. So those are like two levels of home.
Yeah. Two homes. And then the other one with about nature.
Yeah.
I mean, that could maybe be my nature, might be my bed. And I feel like maybe my bed is I can maybe relate to it on that level.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I love this idea of like, I do like coming home to something. Like, I like having a space that I frequent regularly. So I'll be like, at the end of the day, I'm going home, whatever that is. And even if I'm in another country, like that I have a base in, like, it's in like a hotel or an Airbnb or something.
Yeah. It's like
I create that space, that temporary space that's just...
And it has like kind of your scent.
Yeah, it does. It has your energy.
Yeah, your energy.
And you feel comfortable in your own energy.
Yeah. So this leads me to that question where, can home be another person?
I think so. I think maybe especially if you're like been very intimate with somebody, that in a way you begin to identify, like people say she's my better half or whatever, or like that you've actually your identity shift to becoming half a person connected to the other half of the person. Yeah. Right? Then when you're separated from that, you feel this kind of as if something's not there because...
Well, there's that thing, isn't there? Like, because my father's ill, he doesn't work. And when my mum goes to work, he like really misses her. And he kind of says that, like the home is not the same without her. Right? Or like the home is not the same now that I've moved out.
Yeah.
Or like I moved out like 10 years ago, but they're still like, we miss you. Like home is not the same with you not there. And it is maybe, it's like this energy. Maybe it is just this, and maybe it is more about the people than the actual space.
But I think there's, in a sense, a four walls to that. Like, so I feel like there's, so it's not a brick and mortar walls, but there's a certain, so like, for me, family, there's a home to the family. But if like my sister's not there and it's just me and my parents, something doesn't feel like quite right. It's not like, it's not home. It's like, it's, house plus.
Yeah. But it just like, so there would inevitably come a time when one member of the family dies.
Yeah. And so that, I guess that's scary.
So is that what? And then, so does home not exist anymore? Well, or does home just become something else? Because like, what I find fascinating about home is that it's just in a constant state of shift. Well, I don't think what's home for me last year is home for me today.
Yeah.
Or even maybe...
But is that just because we move around a lot? Like, or is that as in like, we're not always renting the same apartment, we're always like shifting and...
Well, so the point is that I think we're still as nomadic as our ancestors were.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, how long ago?
Like, I'm talking like since, like, when shepherds used to go from place to place or whatever, I think we're still just as nomadic, but maybe it's more of a mental shift rather than a physical shift.
Oh, so we're like nomadic in our philosophies and ways of thinking.
Yeah, and that's why our concept of home is constantly changing. And maybe that's why some people feel so lost.
But I think that's true because, like, especially with like postmodernism and this like democratization of knowledge.
Yeah.
Then we don't have like very specific kind of epistemologies that have been handed down through generations. Right. Yeah. When you live in one country or one culture, you have this very clear line of epistemology that's been handed down.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas now we just like jump between different things.
Yeah.
And I do feel that, like, I find this for myself. I can kind of entertain any philosophical idea temporarily. But then it's like, where's my ass located?
Yeah. Well, I think it's true, right? I think like the what is home question is really like the key question that people need to really answer. And I just don't know if I have an answer to it.
What is the question? What is home?
What is home? Yeah, and I think a lot of my intimacy issues and stuff like that, or my questions around what love is, comes from my inability to find what home is.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So you don't okay. So why are you looking for home in the other person?
Yeah, I think so. I think, that feeling that we talk about, that feeling that's right. Like, this feeling that's right on so many levels. I think it's feeling home in another person.
Oh, wow.
Feeling at home in another person.
Yeah.
But that might be based on this theory that, home is just comfort, right?
Yeah. So do you think a member of your family has to die in order for you to like actually find this home? Because there's no necessity because home exists, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, home exists, right? Before we lose someone.
So I completely agree with that. I think maybe the reason why I'm not putting all of my energy into finding home is because it already exists with the family.
Yeah, I think I resonate with that as well.
Yeah?
I think that also a notion of kind of just endless unconditional love.
Yeah,
is there. Like I have that source.
Yeah,
where I really need it, and I don't feel there's this absence.
And I think that the thing that's shown it to me is that I've had some friends whose family members have passed away, and then they've kind of lost some love for their partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and because they
That's
had
the opposite.
but they had this unconditional love from their parents that maybe they ended up marrying someone that wasn't who they found home with. And when they lost that unconditional love from their parents because their parents died, they then looked for it in this partner, but they didn't receive it because they didn't feel at home in them.
Oh, that's interesting. I always thought it's just that the process of grief is very difficult and they don't know as a couple how to navigate it.
Yeah, but I think I do agree that grief is a very complex process. But I think if you're...
But that does make...
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, but it's also, I do like to extrapolate on one example and apply it to, like, everything.
Yeah, but, like, what else would be universal to the particular, right?
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
This woman, Chinese dictionary of lovers...
Yeah.
got it exactly right. It's like it's about all these things, but it's none of these things.
Yeah,
I think everybody really understands what home is. It's just this sort of kind of ethereal energy that we can't quite explain, but there's certain like aesthetics that just shift us into this space. So just the home of having, your mum's curry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can be anywhere in the world and you have this curry and you're not home, but you're home.
Yeah, but so my issue with that as well, like, I think that's just conditioned, right? I grew up my whole life, like for the first 18 years of my life, I must have eaten my mum's curry like 2 or 3 times a week, right? So I don't really associate that with home. I think that's just something I'm used to, and it provides comfort to me because it reminds me of my childhood. But I don't think that's home.
Yeah, but so is home conditioned, or is home something? Are you saying home is an innate thing that like it transcends
it transcends everything? Yeah, it transcends conditioning.
Right. So we'll always have a home. But I think it's really hard. Then that for me that alludes much more to the spiritual idea of home because I think all these ideas of what we can every day consider as home, they're all conditioned, right? They're all like things that have been
for sure
taught to us. But I think they're sort of, the association, it's associative thinking, right? Whatever. So you're given something, this feeling of love and comfort and generosity, and that is presented alongside a bowl of noodles. So then you associate the noodles with love, comfort and generosity.
Yeah.
So when you eat the noodles 10 years later in another country...
you're really thinking of that love and generosity.
That love and generosity.
No, so I do agree with that sentiment.
So then it creates this kind of like home around you.
Yeah.
But I think I did realize this a while ago that actually, I think maybe it is like going into nature or whatever. It's quite a profound realization saying that like, if I'm in another place, I can just go somewhere and just find home because from a spirit, I think there's a religion or faith aspect in it.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess it does also come down to certain aesthetics, like having certain rituals and just being able to say, Ya Ali, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad.
Yeah.
Like,
or
in any space.
Or just meditating in any space, right?
Yeah. Then you can just get to that.
Yeah, and I do think it's like this sense of grounding. I think that's what it is. But it's like a sense of grounding, but also it's a way to alleviate fear. Like you're in a new space, but you kind of make it an old space by doing a chant or by meditating or doing what you would do in your normal space.
Yeah, well, you're building, right? You're actually like creating the structure, like you're building your home, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, this is an unfamiliar place, let me build my home around it.
Yeah.
So you start doing these rituals that kind of the walls start building up around you.
Yeah. So I think, where I wanted to go with this as well is so the correlation between being mentally impaired and homelessness.
Oh, shit. Mentally impaired and homelessness.
Yeah.
So what's...
So, because like from working in mental health, like most of my patients are homeless.
Yeah. But do they... I don't know how... I think they've just been ostracized, or they don't know how to... society doesn't make space for them or accommodate them, right? It's not...
Yeah, but based on our theory, though, they're just creating home in a different way than we are.
How do they create home?
By...
Are you saying they create home in these houseless places?
In these houseless places, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But do you think they actually go to those places because that feels more like home to them than other places?
Yeah, I think so. And there's same people that are homeless in Soho.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Because at home, they don't feel at home.
Yeah.
Because maybe they haven't been given the love and kindness and anything like that.
And I think part of it is like, the point is that a lot of them don't see themselves as homeless, even though they're sleeping on the street. They still don't see themselves as homeless. It comes down to what you said, like that. Soho is my home.
Yeah.
And when you offer them housing, they don't want the housing. They want to be on the street.
Yeah.
And maybe that's that sort of spiritual thing that you were talking about, but manifested in a different way.
But I think when we say that, we have been given a lot of like love and stuff because we've been very fortunate from where we've been growing up. If you don't have that, and I think also if you have mental issues, it's like that causes conflict with the family a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, but a lot of diagnostics that we use, in addition to people hearing voices and is them living a life in a certain way. And, if someone's homeless and they don't want to be housed, a lot of people are like, this person's mental, we should be giving them medication because they should want to be housed.
Okay.
So I think, even though, we agree on the idea that home is something more spiritual, I think wider society doesn't see it in that way.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not. And I wonder if even any of our listeners see it in that way.
I'm also not sure how much we even see it in that way, even though we do see it in that way. Like,
because we have a home, right?
Yeah, and we're very fortunate to have this. But I'm not saying I want a spiritual place and live on the streets, right? I still want the four walls. We say home isn't the four walls, but I'm quite grateful for the four walls that we have.
Yeah.
But you're saying the majority of homeless people who are also mentally ill, like they actually want to live on the street?
Yeah. A lot of my patients reject housing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... And you think that's not just... You don't see that as a mental illness in itself or a mental defect. You're seeing it... You actually think that they're tapping into some deeper desire.
Yeah.
What they really want.
Yeah.
Their true self.
But also, that might explain why I'm terrible at my job and my patients don't get better. Because I'm like, I agree with what you're saying. You don't need a home, but maybe they really do need a home so that they can take their medication regularly.
But then in your job, you take steps to give them a home.
Yeah, but then
so that's against how you really feel.
Yeah, but they're well within their rights to say that they want their home. And if they say no, then we support that decision as well. Yeah. Okay.
And you think that's a good way to that should be kept that way? It shouldn't.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think society is full of restrictive practices, and if someone wants to live in a way that's different to society, let them try.
I think there are definitely... And sometimes a lot of things, people are considered mentally ill just because they live outside of a framework of the normal philosophy of the time or whatever.
Yeah, and so that's why I find home so fascinating, because I think regardless of a lot of your belief in religion or anything like that, most people do have the same concept of home. It seems to be something that transcends a lot of culture and religion and belief. And the only time I've really met people who think very differently to me are people who we consider to be mentally unwell.
Okay. So what would you say is the definition of
home?
Or is it just, it's non-definable?
I think it's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. And nothing.
Yeah.
Why, what do you think home is?
Yeah, I guess what we started with was pretty good. I don't know if we've really got any further than what we started with. It's about dumplings, but not about dumplings.
So it's really funny. So I told someone that this book is literally just a podcast, but way more succinct, and they thought it was hilarious that a book would be more succinct than our podcast.
Yeah, I think that's great. Also because there's no prepositions, right, in that book.
Yeah, well, also it's like 700 pages long, and I'm saying that this book, that's 700 pages.
Is more succinct.
It's more concise than our podcast, which is only 21 minutes.
Yeah, what does that say about us?
What does
it say about you guys listening to this?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, also don't read that book, because then you'll have no reason to listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
we can't have built-in obsolescence into our own
No, but
product.
it's true humility.
Yeah, that's true.
And people are attracted to humility.
What stands the test of time more so than something that combusts within its time?
Exactly.
I'm gonna wake up in the morning and just really hacking down the walls. Home is not a war. Home is not bringing war. Home is a feeling.
Oh yeah, having said that, I'm also staying here tonight. Is that okay? Yeah, good.
This is your real home.
Where you are. That's it. Where you are.
Where we podcast is where home is. Home is where we podcast.
I can't believe it took me.
It's fucking.
I can't believe it took us 27 minutes to say home is literally where we podcast.
Yeah.
Oh man, and then home is where you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.